Hello, everybody. I'm Grace Bubeck, and this is the first session today of the Awakening as Love retreat. I take it that most of you or some of you have watched the video of the conversation with Tim Freak. I hope you enjoyed that. You know, part of the inspiration for this retreat and for bringing you the people that I do is that there are many ways of expressing that truth of our being. And some express it maybe more clearly and more forcefully than others. And I saw on the YouTube comment thread that some of you seem to kind of really just want the very traditional non-dual teachings, or appreciate only the very traditional ones. And you know, there's a time when it's very good to be very clear. And also when you speak to people about what happens after awakening, very typically and very often they will say that the human aspect of our existence somehow comes back to be reintegrated in a new way. And that really life is about enjoying both. It's about knowing the truth of our being, and also enjoying the humanity of it, you know, the full-on ways that expresses in everyday life, in our dealings with others, in our relationship with ourselves. Because at that level, life is relational. You know, it happens in relationship with each other, with ourselves, with the world. And so it is dual, and really there's nothing wrong with that, you know, that's there to be enjoyed. So, and part of that enjoyment, part of that allowing, you know, the opening to that truth also is an opening to the way it expresses in our lives from one day to the next, from one moment to the next. And so in this allowing, in this, you know, loving celebration of all of it, there may also be an acknowledgement that we need to, there's certain things in our lives that need to be healed at an emotional level, or maybe not, but there may be. And also, you know, at a physical level, just because we know that the body is just the body, it's not who we are, we still take care of it. So this is just to say, you know, sometimes there can be a very harsh relationship with all that is human. And part of the reason for my inviting Tim Freak to this retreat is because he embraces the human aspect so fully, and so joyfully, and so full on. And I knew that would maybe get up some of your noses, but you know what? That's good. Let yourself be disturbed by that, and find your own way. with that. So that's how much I'll say for now. I see that Layla is able to join us today. So I'm just going to bring you on, Layla. Let's see whether I'm able to do this. There you are.
Ah, hello.
Hello, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Wow, I made it finally.
Yes. So welcome.
Um,
Do you have a question leading on from yesterday's conversation via YouTube thread, or do you just want to say hi to everybody?
well, I wanted to connect with you. I don't know what happened with the mic because after I tried it and it was very easy, but I had
Mhm.
a day of technical stuff which was pressing my buttons, I think, in a way that it
Mhm.
needed to be.
Yeah.
I was really trying to talk to Muji. I got it in my head that I really needed to speak to Muji.
Mhm.
Um, Actually, I've had a very powerful few days. I went to see Amma,
Mhm.
and I had a very strong experience there. And I
Yeah.
wanted to write to Muji, and just
Mm.
as I was receiving my darshan, there was Muji there,
Mhm.
and so I thought, maybe I'm supposed to talk to him, and I'm signed up for this retreat, but it just didn't happen.
Yes.
And I saw that, and he said at the end, "Don't worry, your questions have been answered. Don't be disappointed." And I already knew this, and today it was like actually a very powerful thing happened, and just needed to rest into that, and
Mm.
not. I didn't really need more. I knew the answer to my question, um, and I think this is a habit to want more, and not to just absorb and
Yeah.
recognize, you know, what's already there and happens.
Yes. And actually, Moody spoke to this yesterday, in response to one question about making decisions.
Mm.
He said so clearly, and that is so true. It's so important to see the inner drive that wants answers.
Mm.
And oh dear, there's a real feedback from your. Do you have a headset, Lila?
No, do I need to put it? Is it better if I put it?
Yes, because I think
Okay,
it's a
I'll
lot
get one.
better.
Get
Um,
one. Um,
and just to encourage others, if you want to join the hangout, please feel free to do so. I'm just going to unmute Lila as she plugs herself in. Oh, hi, there's Paula also, and Monica. Wonderful. No, she disappeared again. So, Lila, you may need to check your settings, just to make sure, the little wheel on the black toolbar at the top, make sure that it's set to the headset that you put in.
uh,
Yeah, I hear you. Actually, it's good. Can you
okay,
hear me?
okay. Yep.
Oh, so much better. Thank you,
Is it?
Lila.
Oh,
That
good.
Yes, yes, perfect. So go ahead.
um, yeah, so it was all perfect, really. What happened, it
Yes,
really, somehow, I could see the habit of getting stressed,
yes,
wanting something to happen,
yeah.
which is already actually what happened at Amma's the other day, and when I relaxed, it comes. And then I got to ask this question from you, which was actually really beautiful what you said
Yeah.
about the welcoming the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Were
so
you
this is,
able to do that?
it did come last night. I was waiting for it to come, and it did
Mm-hmm.
come.
Yes.
Um, I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure, but it did feel like this is the key to it, the welcoming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've asked a lot of other people about this experience, and I've tried, as I said, watching and even
Mm-hmm.
surrender. But even
Mm-hmm.
then, it was almost like surrendering to something I don't want. And when you
Yes.
said welcome, and the idea that this wants to be there, that felt
Mm-hmm.
like the key.
Yes. Yes.
And so I'm not worrying about it now. I'm not.
Good. Good.
Yeah,
And you know,
I feel I am welcoming it. Yeah, to come, to
yeah.
see. Yeah.
Yes. And there may need to, it may come a few times. It may come many times. But the key is if you feel, you're surrendering to something that you don't want,
Yeah.
or watching something that you don't want,
Yeah.
you know, the not wanting, that's what gets you stuck. And that's what is really truly and not surrendering to what is, because true surrender, Miranda McPherson used such a beautiful word for it yesterday. It's a melting into what is. It's an allowing of all of it and a not taking offense with any of it. Just as it plays out and
Mm.
trusting this it's right as it is. It shows up because it has to. It needs to. Why else would it show up? And that's so different from the attitude that we have that there's a problem and it needs fixing.
Mm. Yeah. I think the thing for me though has been the loneliness with it because I've been to doctors and nobody seems to know what it is.
Mhm.
They've done all sorts of scans and it's
Yeah.
very hard explaining to people what it is. And I
Mm.
feel kind of alone with this experience, which is
Yes.
very strange.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know where I am. I get up, I walk around. I'm in a kind of altered state, and it's very
Mm.
hard to explain it to people. And I feel
Mm.
very alone with it. And it's
Yes.
very intense. And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of most nights.
Yes. Yes.
So there is the not wanting it to be there. So do I also welcome this not wanting it to be there as well?
Yes. Yes. It's totally understandable. I mean, nobody wants unpleasant experiences,
Mm,
and we're all programmed to not want them, to reject them. So that's the automatic response to say, "Oh no, I need to fix this. This is not right.
mm,
Something's wrong." And to turn that around and to see that this is what keeps happening. That's the programming. That's the conditioning. That's the way the mind runs with you. And then to turn that around and just say, okay, here it is.
mm,
Welcome. Maybe not welcome, but I'm willing to open. I'm willing to
mm,
be there. I'm willing to be there. I'm willing to stay conscious with it. Willing to give it my full on attention and embrace. And
mm,
it's very counterintuitive until we've learned the that kind of surrender really is what undoes the egoic structure. Nothing else will. And that's how presence can shine, because when you stop resisting it, you're there, you're present with it.
I think somewhere there's an idea that because I feel, I do get in touch with my being and who I am, and yet these experiences are still there. And there's an idea that if I had really got it, it would go, you know.
Yes.
I would be healed, I would be,
Yes. Well, actually, every teacher will tell you this, that things will come up.
Mm,
It's part of the becoming conscious. That whatever needs to be cleared through you, it'll be cleared, it'll come up.
mm,
And as you're there with it, it'll clear out. And sometimes also, a lot of spiritual people, they're very sensitive.
mm,
They're, they may become very psychic also.
mm,
And they'll know all kinds of things, or they'll have all kinds of weird experiences.
mm,
And it's just part of that opening that we come to accept that.
mm,
And then it can even be a gift because you can know things about people that you're not supposed to be knowing because they're not supposed to know because they haven't told you, but you know it anyway. Things like this, and that can be very helpful because it can actually allow you to just be present to them in a way that they need.
mm,
So these things that we think are wrong with us, they can turn out to be real blessings. But you don't know, you have to be present to them first.
mm. Thank you.
Oh, so
Mm,
good luck. And you're not alone. Um,
mm,
there are many people who face all kinds of experiences like that as part of their opening, as part of
yeah,
their
but
becoming more
mm,
conscious.
but I found, and I've spoken to a lot of people like healers, and they say, oh, you're moving into a different dimension and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've found that those things haven't really helped. I don't I don't find that really helpful, kind of just as you say, to be present.
Yes, my sense is when you're present and you're just willing to be there, you'll get a much better sense of what this is all about. And maybe you don't. Maybe it'll just pass through and you'll never know what it was.
Hmm. Thank you. Very nice to meet you online.
It's meeting you, yes.
Very grateful for this retreat. I'm kind of going in and out because I have my son in the background and I'm borrowing his
Mhm.
computer, but I'm
Yes,
managing some of it.
good. That's great. Yeah. Well, enjoy as much as you can. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for being willing to just, speak about this experience. Because my sense is when you're looking for help, help will come also.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Should I stay
Thank
here?
you. It's up to you. Right now you're the only one who's there.
It's from.
Um, others may join in
Uh,
as they want to. I was quite happy to have a few people on the hangout last night. That was quite nice. We'll see. Let
okay.
take up. Do as it feels right for you, Lena.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to have a quick look at the YouTube feed to see whether there are any questions there. Um, oh, there's quite a lot of comments. People have gotten the message that the video is private. Try refreshing the page. Oh, okay. Somebody says it's been early. I made it public at about 9 a.m. Eastern, or just after. So video is working, I say. I'm just looking for any questions here. Oh, somebody's talking about making a donation. Thank you. Actually, I really appreciate donations. It's a lot of work doing those retreats, and it's time I spend not earning any money, and life has a way of costing money. So yeah, thank you if you're willing to donate some money. Any amount is appreciated, really, and I'm very grateful. Sophia says, I really love the realness of all this bit. Oh, thank you for appreciating. Thank you also to Thomas for appreciating. Resonates strongly. Yes. Aninia says, oh, I see now how much I resist emotional pain. Yes, it's so important to see that, because that resistance is what locks us into ego. And the thing is, it can camouflage as spiritual truth. Or as my teacher Gangaji says, it's the spiritual superego pretending to be truth, but it's still part of the egoic structure. So just be very present to yourself and check with yourself whether there's resistance to any of the emotions, to anything that's happening in your mind. And if there is, know that this is the functioning of the ego that's preventing you from being truly here. Always, always. So it's always worth checking that one out. David says, may the hearts of those who look for truth be filled with love, joy, and peace. May their light shine bright upon those who they meet along their way. Oh, thank you, David. It's a beautiful prayer, a beautiful wish. And Monica has a question. Don't you think that we have first to recognize our true nature, for then being separate without psychological suffering, and then celebrate duality? Actually, no, I don't. you know, it'd be wonderful if everybody could just wake up like this. And of course, that's everybody's dream, everybody's kind of fantasy, if they haven't had an experience like this. But some people wake up very gradually, like myself. You know, things were much more gradual than this. And even if you ask uh, other teachers who had quite strong awakening experiences, there can still be a gradual leading up um, to to that. So actually, it is very useful to be clear about your experience, to be clear about what is contracted, restricted, tight, resisting, fighting, and what isn't. Because when you learn that distinction and the difference, you know, the difference between that tight, contracted state and the expansive openness of presence, it's like you learn to recognize what is true and what isn't. And that is incredibly useful, you know, because that gives you the right pointers. It's just like, you know, I had this question, so I might as well answer that too. Somebody who wanted to ask Muji about devotional practices. And you might want to watch also the conversation with Miranda McPherson and with Gina Lake, because both talked about devotional practices also. Basically, what devotional practices do is they kind of melt away the egoic resistance and structure by opening the heart to that vastness of being, to the truth of being. So that also is useful. And so don't dismiss that, you know, just trust the unfolding of your waking up, however that presents itself to you. But that truth muscle, that muscle of knowing what is contracted and what is open, that is very useful to learn how to use, and to know how to, once you've spotted the contraction, to then open. Once you know you're resisting, to saying, okay, this is how truth unfolds now. And yes, it's not ultimately true, but it is true in this human reality. And so that's what you can open up to. And that is very useful. So there's a question about MI510C3. That's an American question. No, I'm not, because I'm in Canada. So it's not a recognized charity. I'm just a one-woman show, but I will actually probably start, you know, a non-profit organization, but I'm not at this point yet. Now I'm going to have to end soon, and I just see that Elizabeth has joined. Oops, she just popped away again. So because I have to start the next session, I'll answer one more question, and then I'll I'll let you go for now. You can come back to the closing session later on. Julia, how to deal with jealousy to a man. It seems like it eats me from inside, but in other parts of life, I am happy. It's like jealousy standing in the way of my freedom. Julia, thank you for this question. And my answer would be exactly the same as to Layla. Use this as your teacher. Let that be what burns up whatever tendencies are there in you emotionally. Be present to that jealousy. Allow it to show up full force. But you are not that. You can be present. Some teachers would say you can watch it. Again, watching can be a subtle resistance to it. So you want to make sure that you're really willing to just feel the fire of that jealousy. Jealousy burns a lot, it's very unpleasant. But in that fire, there's a willingness to burn whatever possessive feelings you have, and whatever self-doubt you have, and feelings of not being worth love you have. And then see what is there, what has been there all along, which is, of course, that you are love. You don't need that love from another. And the more you can recognize that duality, of the feeling of jealousy and the strength of that, and at the same time the loving presence that is there, that has never been lost, and that you don't need from anybody else because you are that, then the willingness to be present to the jealousy will reveal the love that is there, and it's never been lost. That can't be lost, really. You may lose it from that particular person, but you cannot lose it ever, truly. And that's, that can be such a teacher. So let it be a teacher for you. Let the jealousy come whenever it comes, and just be willing to let it burn you. So thank you to all of you for watching. We'll be starting up again in 15 minutes. I'll be talking to Nirmala about the heart's wisdom. Join me for that. Until then, bye-bye.